Hey guys, what's going on? StormRider36 here, and today I have another food for thought video. I did one of these a little bit ago, like a few weeks ago, and I actually really enjoyed it because I really enjoy, giving people things to think about and talk about that they didn't really think about before. Not in like a negative way either, and just a way so that like now they like know what's happening, and it kind of like changes their whole view and everything. It's kind of cool to me. So today we're going to talk about actually something that a lot of you probably don't think about, and that's population growth. And I mean the whole planet. Now, I'm a huge geography nerd. I take geography classes, so this, population is part of geography, a very big part. So we talk about this in my classes at college. And what do I mean by this? I mean that we are having more children now than we ever have had before, and we're able to keep them alive better than we ever have been before. So therefore, there are 7.3 billion people on the planet, when there used to, like the incline from like year to year would not be this big. It's huge now. Like the rate at which we're growing is insane. Now, everybody kind of freaks out about this who knows about it. Now, what does that mean? That means that the people who care about the population being super high, they are the ones that they're the ones who care about it. I think I just literally said the same thing twice. But they're the ones that pay attention to it, so they're the ones that care, and they're the ones that are worried. That's what I meant. And, you guys probably aren't, but, you don't have to be, because there's not really a worry. The only reason I'm really talking about this is because it just interests me. Like, it's something that I find interesting, so why not share it with you guys, see what you guys think, get you guys thinking about it, and see where it goes. That's what I like. So, anyway, population growth. We are having more children than people are dying. It's just that easy. And why is that? Advanced in medical technology, that's really it, actually. Better life conditions. We're eating better than we ever have before in the entire world, not just the U.S. So I'm going to use terms called that are MDC and LDC, and that just means more developed country and less developed country. Now, the birth rate is higher in less developed countries, and the reason for that is because in those less developed countries, the infant mortality rate is higher, so your child might not survive. So what does that mean? That means that you're gonna have more children, so you have more chances of them surviving. You're pretty much hedging your bets, and it's awful to think about, but no one really thinks about why African families, Indian families have 6 children, and that's because they aren't sure if all of them are going to survive, so they want to have children in the end. Another big thing in MDCs, or LDCs I mean, less developed countries, is the use of children for labor on the farm. So you have more children because then you get more labor, and you don't have to hire people. It's money that stays within the family, and that's a positive enough to have a lot of children. Now, that doesn't mean that the parents don't love their children, but I'm just saying that that's another reason to have so many children. Even people in the United States, farmers in the United States, will still have big families because it's traditional, and they get kids to do chores all the time. I've seen it. I live out in the country. I've heard stories of people who are from the Midwest, all about it, and it's kind of cool to think about why. Like, we've never thought about why this has happened. We only know that it does happen. So that's one of my interests, is that I know why. So anyway, back to crude birth rate. So people have more children for that reason. And, it's sad to think that that's why people have to have more children, because it shouldn't be that way. But unfortunately, they haven't gotten, the prenatal care, which is just care of the baby while it's still in the womb, and then the care after the baby's born, because the first year of the baby's life is the most important, and where it's most fragile, where it can be, hit by disease and everything. So that's when you really have to worry about this stuff. And these countries don't have that ability to worry about it, and it's upsetting. So what is the obvious cure? Well, make them an MDC, develop them. But it's not that easy, because you have to have people willing to spend that money. You have to have people that are willing to do a ton of stuff to be able to develop a country, because that's pretty hard to do. But anyway, so we're talking about crude birth and crude death rate here, not about developing a country, because I don't know how to do that. I only know what my teacher tells me at school. So anyway, think about it. People are having more children. Therefore, population is growing. So for every 2 parents, they're having 6 kids. Those 6 kids will have maybe 6 kids of their own, and it just multiplies and stacks beyond belief. Now, this is good and bad. This is good because, more people is just, good in general, so that our species isn't like, oh, we have to survive. We need more people to survive. We're comfortable. And 2, because, people can have the family size that they want. Now, that being said, think about it. In the United States and Canada, in more developed countries, people are having less children and might not be having children at all because they have education. We have the ability to have contraceptives. We get condoms handed to us in public school systems. You get them for free everywhere. There's Planned Parenthood. There's, I mean abortions, but that's not what I really mean about this. There's decisions in MDCs. LDCs, the women are not really that powerful, usually. Now, some are. I'm not saying that all countries that are underdeveloped have problems with their women being, not empowered. But a lot of them are, having an issue with that. And that's, the main way to stop, our population from growing at the exponential rate that it is. Because it's growing at a rate that it really shouldn't be. Now, there's no reason to fear about it because, we have enough food, we have enough water, we have all of these things. It's just distributing the resources properly to everybody on the planet. And we only live on 30% of the planet's surface, so technically we're not going to run out of space. We're not going to run out of space, we're not going to run out of resources. So that has nothing to do with it. But, people are still freaking out about this because so many people is going to cause, issues for singular countries. It's not going to just be that easy for everybody. But, So, anyway, the main goal of most population scientists and all that stuff is to get the population to stop growing at such an exponential rate because it's growing too fast for their liking. So, what does that mean? That means really empowering women. And I guess that this kind of turned into a women's rights thing, but it's true. You give a woman the right to choose to have a kid, a woman the right to choose to get married, a woman the right to choose to get an abortion or not, birth rate goes down instantly, because then it's not men forcing women to have children. It's not men forcing women to do anything. It's women being able to choose, and a lot of women are going to choose education once they learn about it over motherly duties and, children. It's that easy. It really is. Now, some mothers are going to stay and be like, no, I want to be a family member. I want to be traditional. That's perfectly fine. But it's the ones that don't want to be that are the ones that I'm kind of more talking about. If you don't want to be, a mother at age of 16, 17, 18, which happens in a lot of countries, then, we need to try and do this because, like I said, the moment you give a woman her rights, the moment population is controllable very easily. Now, that's very, very different, but what a lot of these countries do is actually sterilization of the genders. If you don't know what that means, that just means you can't have kids ever, and that's not very fun when you think about it. So, that's how they do it in most of these underdeveloped countries, and that's not really a good thing, to be honest. I would say it is like the opposite of getting it done, because then you kind of kill off your population in a solid line. So, but, still sterilization. In a lot of these countries, people have never heard of birth control, condoms, all that stuff, and they can't get it. So it's kind of like, we need to get this into the hands of everybody. Because then otherwise, it won't really these countries won't be able to develop because they have so many people that they don't have the money or resources to take care of that population, so they can't grow. And it's really all about, getting contraceptives into the hands of people. So instead of, preaching women's rights in every country in the world, it's handing out condoms, telling people the advantages of not having kids so early, the advantages of, informing people. It's more teaching people a new culture than, being like, hey, give that woman her rights, because a lot of people aren't going to be very happy about that. Just a little FYI. I don't know if you guys would have noticed, but as soon as you start to give a woman her rights, men tend to freak out. Because, that's still our society. Like, even though women have the rights in America and a lot of other MDCs, lesser developed countries have still not gotten there, and it's sad, and it needs to change, because people need their rights, because that's how, we develop as not only as countries, but as a planet, as a race, and all that stuff. And I'm not putting anybody down for this. I'm just saying that, things need to change in order for, the birth rate to go down, in order for people to be calm about, in order for people to be calm about population growth. That's what I meant. But yeah, so it's really all about giving a woman her right to choose, giving everyone a right to choose, really, because that's important. And that's just not women. That's gays, lesbians, transsexuals, transvestites, all the different things. And no, transgenders and transvestites are not the same thing, and both should be treated appropriately. But you guys, that'll be a different food for thought. I like these videos just because of the fact that, they get you guys thinking, and they get me thinking, and get my thoughts kind of lined up. And I do this off the top of my head, by the way, because I don't like to just, jump right in with it all planned out, because then it's like I don't get my emotions really in it. But anyway, so, like I said, when you think about it, population growth is directly linked with women's rights, and no one really thinks about that. And, a woman's right to choose is probably the most important right that she could have. And some women don't have that, so that's kind of what the world needs. But, that's neither here nor there. I hope you guys are thinking about this. I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about. And, leave a comment about what you think about this. You can leave a comment if you think what I'm saying is bullshit. You can leave a comment thinking like I opened your eyes, or thinking that you already knew this shit, and everyone knows. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. Like and comment if you did. Subscribe if you want to see more of my content. This has been Stormrod36, and I will see you all in the next one.